Peeves the poltergeist, the resident master of mischief at Hogwarts, was never anything to the staff and students but a nuisance. He played pranks, was disrespectful and disruptive, and relished chaos. So why was he ever allowed to stay at Hogwarts? It seemed like students were threatened with expulsion for every little thing, from flying a broom without supervision to simply being disliked by Professor Snape. So what reason could Dumbledore have had for putting up with someone whose entire existence was to cause chaos? Now, if you've seen the movies but never read the Harry Potter books, you might not actually know who Peeves is. His character never made the transition from page to screen, which is unfortunate because as much of a pain as he was to Harry Potter and co, he was always an entertaining supporting character. So in case you don't know Peeves or need a refresher, here's the skinny on Hogwarts Master of Mischief. So Peeves is the local poltergeist at Hogwarts. His entire existence is for the purpose of creating chaos and havoc. Much like the Hogwarts ghosts, Peeves would come and go as he pleased, appearing through solid walls and flying around seeking trouble to make, which included scaring first years from inside suits of armour, dropping water balloons on students, and blowing in Harry Potter's ear in the middle of the night until he woke. So what exactly is a poltergeist? The poltergeist is an entity that can become invisible at will, moves objects, slams doors, and creates other audible kinetic disturbances. Real-world cases of poltergeists have been reported in many cultures, and there is a strong association with the places where young people, especially adolescents, are living. So if poltergeists are drawn to places with adolescent inhabitants, it was inevitable that in a building bursting with teenage witches and wizards, a poltergeist would appear. So why would Dumbledore and all the previous headmasters allow Peeves to continue his reign of chaos throughout a school for underage witches and wizards? Surely this kind of behaviour couldn't be welcome in a school with thousands of innocent children around for a poltergeist to prey on, right? Well, what if I told you it was actually impossible to get rid of him? According to J.K. Rowling, Peeves has been at Hogwarts since 993 Common Era. One day he simply sprang into existence. Why? Because poltergeists, unlike regular ghosts, were never human to begin with. They never lived at all. Poltergeists come into being as a result of noise and chaos in a singular location. A school such as Hogwarts, where underage magic was rampant and children were confined together for much of the year, was inevitably going to generate a poltergeist. So Peeves was born inside Hogwarts. A poltergeist is actually a representation of teenage rebellion and emotions. Whenever there is a number of adolescents who cause mischief, a poltergeist forms over time. So with Hogwarts housing so many rebellious teenagers, not to mention the Weasley twins, over the years one was bound to come into existence. And with the constant number of teenagers whose very presence brought Peeves into existence, it's been determined that Peeves is actually the most powerful poltergeist in Europe. Now, because of the way Peeves came into being, he's tied to the castle. He can't leave and he can't be removed. He's as much a part of Hogwarts as the Great Hall. I hear some of you saying, but Peeves was scared of Dumbledore, right? Why would he be scared if Dumbledore couldn't do anything about him? No wonder he wreaked havoc. Now, just because Peeves couldn't be expelled from the castle, that doesn't mean that Dumbledore couldn't have made things hard on him. Think of Peeves like a leaking pipe, and all the various headmasters were plumbers. Dumbledore was more skilled with the tools than the previous headmasters, so while the leak couldn't be completely fixed, it could have potentially been patched over very well. Dumbledore certainly understood that removing Peeves entirely wasn't an option, but also would have known how to properly put Peeves in his place if he ever got too out of hand. We know there are spells to affect poltergeists as demonstrated by Professor Lupin's Witty Wuzzy spell. Now that spell, if you need a refresher, shot a wad of chewed up gum into Peeves' nostril. Of course a spell to put a poltergeist into their place is going to involve some kind of mischief. A skilled wizard like Dumbledore would have certainly known even more effective ways of dealing with a poltergeist, even one as powerful as Peeves. Peeves, while destructive and troublesome, was not stupid, so he understood that fact quite well, which is why he was always on his best behaviour when Dumbledore was around. Another reason no one ever kicked him out was because no one really cared enough, and it is believed Dumbledore secretly liked him. As we know, Dumbledore wasn't averse to a little mischief himself every now and then. So while Peeves couldn't be properly removed from the castle, life for him could have been made significantly less pleasant if he crossed the wrong people.